Hello and welcome to Top 5 Friday. I'm your host Tim Cant, and this time we're looking at the top 5 techno plugins around. And I know what you're thinking, what does this normie know about techno? But I'll have you know, I'm a big fan of underground techno. Derek May, Underground Resistance, and of course my favourites, Eiffel 65. Now let's check out those plugs. ProR has a room with a view at 5. Decapitator quits while it's ahead at 4. ABL3 is having a flashback at number 3. Drummers is standing tall at 2. And by Zeus, Dupe 8V is our number 1. At 5, it's ProR by FabFilter. Perfect dystopian techno needs a perfect dystopian reverb, and FabFilter's ProR is just that. ProR has all the hallmarks of any regular reverb plugin with space, decay time, and many more parameters, but it's the lower half that makes it so versatile. Here the yellow curve acts as an EQ on the reverb signal, and the blue curve changes the decay time for different frequencies. This gives you a new way to emphasize or roll back different frequencies by changing their timing or their level. Add that to the easy brightness, character, distance and width controls, as well as all your favorite reverb parameters, and you've got a workhorse reverb for any style. Gotta tell you guys, I spent a long time finding my go-to bread and butter reverb, but ProR is definitely the one. And you know what? It's absolutely fantastic for techno. Let me show you why right now. So I've got the default setting here. We'll turn the mix down to 0 so you can just hear this kick drum that we've got in its dry form. And then we'll turn up the mix. We'll turn it up to 100% wet. Ooh, listen to that. Oh, big and booming. Now, if that's a little bit too big and booming for you, you can use these cool decay time and EQ controls to really sculpt the sound. They're pretty easy to use. I'll show you how we do it. So let's say we want to get rid of that booming low end. We can just EQ it out. And this won't affect the dry signal. So if you wanted, you could really just like focus in on a particular area. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. And then if you want to further tweak the sound, we'll open this up back a bit again. And then what we can do is muck about with the decay time thingy here. And this allows us to change the level of decay over the frequency spectrum, which is cool. Oh yeah. So there, very lovely. And of course you have all these other controls that we don't have time to look at right now that do your regular reverb stuff and are very, very useful indeed. So yeah, FabFilter ProR is a really fantastic reverb for whatever style of music you make, but for techno, it's particularly apposite. At 4, Decapitator by Soundtoys. If you're mixing techno, you're going to want some analog style distortion and saturation, and Decapitator gives you exactly that in 5 flavors, A, E, N, T and P. These are based on various hardware circuits, including tape machine preamp, channel strip mixing console, and 2 hardware distortion processors. Just push up the drive to get things moving, and for the fuzzy cherry on top, there's a punish button to bring things right to the brink. Elsewhere, Decapitator has low cut, high cut and tone controls to help you customize the distortion to your liking. So the logical way to show off the distortion power of Decapitator is to demo it on top of a clean and 909 kick drum sound. Let's have a listen to that. Very cool. What happens if we turn up that drive though? Oh my goodness. Oh, we can get really nasty. I like this range, but if you really want to, yes, hardcore techno time, and you've got these various styles. And you can really hear, they really affect the low end and the transients in a different way, and you can also punish yourself with this button here. Oh yeah. Oh, just tons of hardcore techno fun. I want to show you a little trick as well. You can activate the thump mode on the low cut knob, which is a low cut filter or high pass filter as you might call it. Let's see what we can do with that. So we can use quite a high value of drive. And then we'll activate thump, and we will turn this up. Now if we turn the drive up a bit more, we can really get a characterful transient, which will change quite significantly with the style. And while that is pretty messed up on its own, if we mix in some dry, you like that? Oh yeah. Decapitator, guys, it's a fantastic distortion and one I insist you check out immediately. And number 3, it's Bassline 3 by Audio Realism. Without Roland's TB303 bass synth, acid techno wouldn't exist as we know it. We reckon that Audio Realism's Bassline 3 takes the biscuit vis-a-vis 303 emulation. The idea behind ABL is to recreate the TB303 as faithfully as possible, while also tacking on a few modern-day improvements and digital style upgrades. ABL 3 nails the sound of the 303, and it adds functions too, including a pattern edit view and the ability to customize the VCO and VCA. It also features a wave analyzer which can automatically transcribe 303 patterns to be played in ABL. Very cool. If you're after an authentic acid experience, ABL 3 is a great choice, guys. You can program it in the classic mode that we see here, which is very much like a real 303 or Rebirth 338 if you're a child of the digital age like myself. There's also a pattern sequencer as well that you can use. And this is just kind of your regular step sequencer you'd find in a kind of drum machine or something like that. And you've got a pitch thing and everything, blah, blah, blah. Let's do the classic mode, old school style, and muck about with that. So here we have 16 steps. And for each of these, we can choose a note on the keyboard or turn the note off with the gate button. So let's just make a kind of acid part kind of random, like they basically would have done back in the day, because this thing was not super intuitive to program. So let's start with a G, and then I guess we'll turn the note off. Let's have another G, but let's take it up an octave. We'll leave that one on a C, we'll have that one off, we'll have this one on an A sharp, and then we'll have a slide, and then we'll slide down an accent, and then we'll miss a couple out for good luck, I guess. Then we'll go down to the D for some reason, but we'll take it up an octave. You see how this goes, guys. There's just a lot of mucking about with very little logic, but the beauty part is you can, once you've found whether what you've created sounds good or not, you can go back and muck about with it later and make it sound all lovely. And we'll go for a C sharp here for crazy reasons. Now let's see what happens when we play this monstrosity back. Ooh. Let's open up that cutoff. Oh. Do you know, we definitely need some more env mod. Come on. There we go. I'll put in some resonance. Oh yeah, here we go. Now that's what I'm talking about. When that resonance goes high, that's when you know you're getting your freaky acid vibes. And we'll turn the accent up as well. Let's accent some notes. That's off. And you can muck about with the tuning as well. So you can go for a screech and lead to a bass line. We'll turn that to a sawtooth. Oh no, we'll turn it from a sawtooth to a pulse. Ooh, oh yeah. Oh man. I could really play with that all day. Now, there's loads of cool stuff in here, including the wave analyzer that we're not going to look at now. What I want to show you though is the pattern. Now look, all of that nonsense we put in there, it's represented here, and you can muck about with it oh so easily. You can even select a kind of note that would be out of the range of the original. Well, actually, it probably would have been in the range of the original. But anyway, point is, you can muck about with the notes real easy here and turn them on and off at will, and just create something new and cool very quickly. Oh yeah. Yes, that's too much techno fun for anybody to handle. We gotta move on, guys. Let's keep it moving. At 2, Drummerson by D16 Group. While the 303 provided the squelchy bass of techno's birth, Roland's TR-909 Groovebox provided the beats, and it often still does to this day. D16 Group's Drummerson is a bang-on emulation of the 909, and it also offers some improvements of its own for the virtual world. As well as using Drummerson with a built-in step sequencer, you can trigger the plugin using MIDI. Other enhancements for the computer-based version include more parameters to tweak for the individual drum sounds, intelligent rescale, and a randomizer. Okay, let's check out Drummerson real quick. Now, the built-in sequencing with the step sequencer, which is very lovely, is quite involved like the original drum machine, but using it with the DAW triggering MIDI is very, very simple indeed. All you need to do that is turn off the internal sequencer and then, oh look, you can play some drum sounds. So let's make a beat real quick. So this is going to be how to make a techno beat 101, guys. I'm sure you're really excited for this. We're going to put a kick on every beat. And I'm going to take it old school, as you might have guessed, with, where are they? Here they are. I'm going to have a little bit of closed, open on my hats, because I'm a bad boy. Let's check it out. That's what I'm talking about. Now, where's our clap? There we go, that's the fella. I'm gonna put this on every other beat in a crazily original fashion. And then, what about some ride? Oh, there we go. Have that on every beat as well. Or maybe we should have it on every quarter note. No, every 8th note. How about that? Oh, there we go. Let's speed the tempo up a bit. I know this is too fast for you kiddies, but it's sick. Oh, there we go. And the cool thing about this plugin is you can take the controls up further than you would an original 909, so you can get some cool effects. Yeah, let's take that nice and low, but also very attacky. With these simpler sounds, you get less control, but enough to get some cool sounds. There you go. Again, something you can play with for hours as well if you have the patience to get into the internal sequence stuff. There's loads of other cool stuff in there like shuffling and accents and mucking about, but yeah, a great choice for all your techno drum needs. And at number 1, it's Jupe 8V by Arturia. Roland Jupiter 8 is an 80s classic, a polyphonic synth that helped birth techno as a genre, but it didn't have any MIDI control on board. However, thanks to the wonders of plugin technology, you can integrate Arturia's virtual version with the rest of your setup in your DAW. Arturia have also enhanced the synth with various new features, including 32 voice polyphony, and included something called the Galaxy module for advanced LFO patterns. If you're looking for an authentic Jupiter 8 experience, but with none of the connectivity hassles or maintenance requirements, let alone the price tag of the original unit, this is the one for you. Jupe 8V is a really fun keyboard to play with, and even though it's from the 80s, which I guess when you think of the 80s, you think of beautiful soft analog pads or delicate crystalline digital FM sounds, you can actually get a surprising amount of filth out of this bad boy. Let me show you what I mean, and you'll notice before I start I've got a limiter on here already because this thing can make some crazy noises. So we're starting off with the init patch. It's the source mix is set to just a VCO1, which is set to the rectangle shape. I'm going to turn that down to triangle, and we can have a listen to VCO2 by turning up the source mix, but that's just another rectangle. What's interesting is when we turn up the cross modulation, which seems to be ring mod. It's hard to find very explicit documentation on this, but it certainly sounds like some kind of ring mod's going on. Let's see what it does. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay, and you can see that the limiter was working overtime there. Now, I'm just going to turn this track down because, oh, it's a spicy one. We're going to turn this cross modulation all the way up. Now, what's interesting is if you say, choose the octave of C5, you try playing at various different notes here. It's like every note is a completely different sound. So if you're into resampling and stuff like that, it's a really great feature to muck about with. I mean, you could play a melody with it, but my goodness. And another little tip, while I'm here, put the thing in unison mode and turn the unison voices up to 4. You get an even bigger sound. Oh God. It's like it does all the work for you, and I think that alone is reason enough to make Decay VR #1.
Well, that was a lot of knob tweaking fun. And great news, I've just got off the phone with the CEO of iTunes. He tells me that everyone watching this video has been signed to Drumcode. So, congratulations, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.